Hi everyone, Leo here, and today we are gonna do something a little bit different. I want to talk about a piece of gear that I don't think about enough. Headphones. Whether we are recording, mixing or just listening back to our tracks, the headphones we use actually matter a lot more than we may realize. And over the years I've landed on 4 very specific pairs that each serve a completely different purpose in my life. So let me walk you through them. Alright, let's start with the big one, and I mean that literally because these things are not small. The Audeze LCD-X. This is my go-to for mixing my songs, and honestly they've changed how I work. So what makes them special? Let's talk specs for a second. These are open back planar magnetic headphones. Now, if you are not familiar with planar magnetic technology, the short version is this. Instead of a traditional dynamic driver with a voice coil attached to a cone, planar magnetic use an ultra-thin diaphragm suspended between 2 arrays of magnets. Audeze called theirs the ultra-thin uniforce diaphragm. The result is that the entire surface of the diaphragm moves uniformly, which dramatically reduces distortion and gives you incredible accurate sound reproduction. The drivers on the LCD-X are massive at 106 mm. They also use what Audeze calls phasor wave guides, which help control the way sound waves travel from the driver to your ear. This improves imaging and reduce phase interference, so we get a cleaner, more defined stereo image, which is exactly what I want when I'm placing instrument in a mix. Here are some more numbers. The frequency response goes from 10 Hz all the way up to 50 kHz, so we are covering everything from the deepest sub-bass to frequencies well beyond what human ears can perceive. The impedance is only 20 ohms, which means we don't necessarily need a super expensive headphone amplifier to drive them. Sensitivity is around 103 decibels per milliwatt, and they can handle a maximum SPL of over 130 decibels. These are serious headphones. Now, I should add that I pair the LCD-X with the room simulation software. This is important. When you mix on speakers in a real room, the sound bounces off walls, the ceiling, the floor. Our brain uses all of those reflections to build a three-dimensional picture of the mix. When we put on headphones, all of that disappears. The sound goes directly into our ears with no room interaction at all. And that can make our mixes sound weird when we play them back on speakers. So, what the room simulation software does is it models the acoustic behavior of a real studio control room. And it also takes into account the specific headphones we are using. In this case, the LCD-X. It applies a correction profile that compensates for the headphone characteristics and then adds realistic room reflections. The result is that mixing on headphones starts to feel much more like mixing on monitors in a treated room. It's a game changer, especially if you don't have access to a properly treated studio space. The LCD-X came in at around $1,200. Is that expensive? Yes, it is, but for a pair of headphones that can genuinely replace a monitoring setup, or at the very least serve as a trusted reference alongside our monitors, I think they are worth every penny. Okay, next up, the AKG K141 Studio, and this is the pair I reach for every time I'm recording acoustic guitar or vocals. Now, these are a completely different animal from the LCD-X. The K141 is a semi-open on-ear headphone. The semi-open design is actually key here. It means the ear caps aren't fully sealed. They let some air and sound pass through. Why does that matter for recording? Well, two reasons. First, when we are recording acoustic guitar or singing, we need to hear ourselves naturally. Fully closed headphones can create this weird sealed off feeling where our own voice sounds boomy and unnatural inside our head, and it's called the occlusion effect. The semi-open design of the K141 reduces that, so our voice and our guitar sound more like they do in the real room. That helps with pitch, with dynamics, with feel, all the things that make a performance actually good. Second, the K141 is designed so we can easily flip one ear cap off, something like this. So when I'm tracking vocals or acoustic guitar, I can keep one ear on the headphones to hear the click track and the backing, and keep the other ear open to hear my natural sound in the room. That's a classic studio technique, and these headphones are built for exactly that. In terms of specs, the K141 features AKG's Vari-Motion diaphragm technology, which provides a wider dynamic range and higher sensitivity from a relatively compact driver. The frequency response runs from 18 to 24 kHz, which is more than enough for accurate monitoring. Impedance is 55 ohms and sensitivity is 114 decibels per volt. They are efficient enough to be driven by pretty much any audio interface headphone output. Now, I do have one complaint, and it's a pretty common one with these headphones. The original earpads, the part that actually sit against our ear, tend to disintegrate over time, and I don't mean they just wear out gradually. I mean they literally fall apart. This seems to be a known issue with the stock pads. The good news is that replacement pads are easy to find online, and I swapped mine out for a more durable aftermarket version that's been going strong ever since. I mean, $10, and I bought this version and I have it forever. Now, I should mention that the K141 has been discontinued, so if you are watching this and think, great, I want a pair, you might have a hard time finding them new. But here's the good news: the AKG K240 is essentially the successor, and it's still very much available. Either way, if you need a reliable pair of semi-open headphones for recording vocals or acoustic guitar, the K240 is a good option. Now we leave the studio and enter the real world. My everyday listening headphones are the Apple AirPods Max. Those guys here. Let me just say this up front. These headphones make everything sound good. Seriously. You put on a well-mastered record and it sounds incredible. You put on a random podcast and even that sounds rich and full. Apple has done something really clever with the computational audio processing in this. The adaptive EQ continuously analyzes the seal of the ear cushions and adjusts the low and mid frequencies in real time to compensate for any fit variations. So the sound is always optimized for our ears specifically, without us doing anything. The active noise cancellation on the second generation is reportedly 1.5 times more effective than the original model, and I can tell you from personal experience it's very good. For long journeys, it's an absolutely lifesaver for our sanity and our ears. The build quality is premium. We are talking aluminum ear caps, a stainless steel frame, a breathable mesh headband. They feel substantial. The digital crown from the Apple Watch is the main control, and it's actually a brilliant way to adjust volume and switch between noise cancellation and transparency mode. The second generation also brought some nice new features: improved conversation awareness, which automatically lowers the volume and lets outside sound in when we start talking to someone, and the 24-bit lossless audio support over USB-C, which is great when we are at our desk and want the best possible quality through a wired connection. Now, they are not cheap at $549, and at 386 grams they are heavier than most competitors, but for pure listening enjoyment and noise cancellation performance, especially for travel, I haven't found anything I liked better, especially considering how well they fit in the Apple ecosystem. And now my running headphones, the Shokz OpenFit 2 Plus. Now, I need to explain something personal here, because it's the whole reason I ended up with this. I cannot use in-ear earbuds, not AirPods Pro, not any of them. The reason is that anything I stick inside my ear canal pushes earwax further in. For most people that's not a big deal, but for me it causes real problems. Blockages, discomfort, muffled hearing. I've dealt with it enough times to know that in-ear earbuds are simply not an option for me. So I needed something for running that wouldn't go inside my ears, and the Shokz OpenFit 2 Plus are the perfect solution. These are open ear earbuds. They hook over our ear and sit just outside the ear canal without ever going in. The sound is directed towards our ear using what Shokz calls their dual boost technology, which uses two independent drivers for high and low frequencies to deliver a surprisingly full balanced sound from a tiny open ear design. Now, to be honest, out of the box, they are a bit too bright for my taste. The eyes can feel a little forward and fatiguing, especially on longer runs when we just want the music to sit comfortably in our ears. But here's the thing, the Shokz companion app has a built-in EQ and it's actually quite good. I spent a few minutes tweaking it to tame those eyes, and once I dialed in a curve that suited my preferences, they sounded so much better. This generation also supports Dolby audio processing, which adds extra depth and clarity to the sound. Battery life is excellent, as we get around 11 hours from the earbuds themselves and up to 48 hours total with the charging case. They are IP55 rated for water and dust resistance, so sweat and rain aren't a concern. And the OpenFit 2 Plus adds wireless charging for the case, which is a nice convenience. The comfort is outstanding too. Each earbud weighs only about 8 grams, and after a few minutes I genuinely forget I was wearing them. I've done long runs with these and never once had discomfort or had them slip out of place. The OpenFit 2 Plus retail for $200, which is fair, I think, for the technology and build quality we are getting here. So here we go, 4 headphones for completely different jobs. The Audeze LCD-X for mixing, because nothing else gives me that level of flat, accurate, transparent sound, especially paired with room simulation software. The AKG K141 Studio for recording guitar and vocals, because that semi-open design lets me hear myself naturally while tracking. The Apple AirPods Max for everyday listening and travel, because they make everything sound fantastic and the noise cancellation is unbeatable on train or plane. And the Shokz OpenFit 2 Plus for running, because they keep me safe, they stay comfortable for miles, and most importantly, they don't shove anything inside my ear canal. I hope this was helpful. If you have questions about any of this, drop them in the comments. Please notice that I'm not sponsored. I purchase all these headphones with my own money. So please let me know your preference, your headphones, the headphones you use the most, and see you soon in the next videos. Thank you for watching and see you soon. Bye bye.